Hey everyone, it's Karen, and welcome to another episode of Karen and her Wacky Stitches. No, just kidding. So as promised on the Facebook group that I'm on for Addie Circular Knitting, I've put the two names of Snowdrift and Stairway to Heaven in a hat here. So I'm just going to mix it up a bit. And let's see here. I'm going to close my eyes and what did I pick? Snowdrift. Yay. Okay, so this pattern will now be known as Snowdrift. So I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Now, this here one is a very difficult stitch, so I'm sorry about that for anybody that is really looking forward to it and hoping it was easy. It's not. I have done up a little Excel sheet here, and I've got this listed all the way to 45, and then I've deleted 46, and then the next row is deleted except for number 46. Now, the reason for this is just because of how difficult this is. Now, one thing that you should have is, if you're doing it with this Excel sheet, is you should have your rows numbered. So, for me, I'm starting this toque on, or the pattern for this toque, on row 70. So beside here, beside the 45, I'm going to put 70 and then 71, etc. That way I know exactly what row I'm on. Now this here, again, like I said, is quite the difficult stitch. I'm going to... To start off here, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to underline 1, 2, 3 together, and 4, 5, 6 together, and they're all in groups of 3. And you'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. And it is pretty when it's done, but it is very difficult to do. At least for me it is. The concentration that is needed is unbelievable. And because this here is on basis of 3, this will actually work for the Centro 40 and the 22 pin machines. It will wind up with a different outlook on the 48. And I am going to do a sample of that in another video. So to get started here, like I said, I'm starting on row 70. And let me pause this for a second and reposition the camera. Okay, so I may wind up bumping the camera, and if I do, I'm terribly sorry. So, as you know from previous videos that I've done, you just wrap this around. Okay, and my camera's still not right, hang on. Okay, maybe this will be a better angle. So as I was saying, you wrap 2, okay, and then you normally go to the next 2 and wrap them. Well, in this here one, you've wrapped stitch 1 with 2. Now you're going to wrap 2 with 3. And like I said, it is kind of difficult remembering this as you're going around. That's why I've got it marked off, like 1 with 2, 2 with 3, etc. And then I put a little check mark over top of the one that I've done. That way, if I have to walk away for some reason, I remember exactly what I've done. But I always make sure that I finish off my group of 3. Okay, so here we go again. So I wrap 4 with 5. And 5 with 6. Okay, then 7 with 8, and 8 with 9. Ugh, come on. 10 with 11 and 11 with 12. And yeah, I'm using Bernat Premium Hot Pink. So 13 with 14, 14 with 15. And it does take a while to do this stitch. 16 with 17, 17 with 18, 19 with 20, 20 with 21, 22, 23, whoops, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26, 27, 28, 29, 29, 30, 31 with 32, 32 with 33, 34 with 35, 35 with 36, 37 with 38, 38 with 39, 40 with 41, 41 with 42, 43 with 44, and 44 with 45. Okay, so as you can see here, this here row ends on 45. Now I've got the 46 is blank, right? And the whole next row is blank until the 46. Now the reason I do that is I do a knit row, and believe me, the knit row is no piece of cake either. So put the yarn in the feeder, because every place, like here, let me try and reposition. Here where you've got the double stitch where it was wrapped around that particular one twice, it catches, and it catches every time. So you have to push it down while maintaining your tension. So I always keep one finger in there, and I just push them all down just to make sure. It can get quite tedious, and that's one reason why I mark off everything that I've done, because it's just a matter of, I don't want to have to I don't want to have to redo it. And if I don't mark it down and walk away just because of frustration or how long it takes, then I will forget and I will screw it up. So, okay, so now you got to watch here. Whoops, come on, get down there. Okay, so here I've got the tape marking my black needles. So here is number 46. So we're starting off again, okay? So take your yarn out of the feeder. Okay, so that's the last one there. So now 46 gets wrapped with 1 and 1 with 2. And we're going to keep going like that all the way around again. And this keeps going until stitch 45. So we make sure that we end it 2 stitches before the black needles. Okay, so we've got those there. One's done. I didn't mark off the next row. Whoops. Okay, just a moment. Okay, now that I have it all marked off, Okay, so I've got my 26 with 1 and 1 with 2. Now I move on to 3 with 4 and 4 with 5. And when you're doing your chart, if you're doing an Excel sheet for it, it's kind of easy to tell, because here you'll notice that everything just goes down on a diagonal, just like our pattern is a diagonal. So it works out quite well. Now, this here is great for scarves as well. So it depends on if you want to do a scarf in this pattern, you know, as to how far you would go. But I think it actually takes, I've done the whole thing here, and it takes, I just counted, it's 90 rows until you are at the end of the pattern. So that's pretty wicked. So unfortunately, no 2 rows are the same for a toque. And that does make it a little bit more difficult. Now, I know I didn't start off with doing the hat right from the get-go. If you are looking on how to cast on to your machine, or how to make your basic toque, look up JoJo on YouTube, and she is absolutely fantastic. So here we go, some more. And yeah, you'll do this for as long as you want. You can do this with a beanie if you want, or an actual toque. I'm doing, I figured I'd do a toque, just because, I don't know, toques are a little bit bigger, so it shows off the pattern a little bit more. Unfortunately, all these stitches that I've developed are more for women than they are for men, so I'm trying to develop a masculine looking stitch. But most guys that I know anyways, they prefer just plain knitting. They don't like anything fancy. So now you can use whatever yarn you want. You don't have to use the Bernat Premium. But my machine likes the Bernat Premium the best. So that's why in all my videos I'm using Bernat Premium. Okay, so now as you can see here, I'm 5 stitches away from the black one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I need 3 from my wrap, and it shows here on my chart, as I will call it, that I have removed 45 and 46, because I'm right here. So anyways, so works out perfect. I did not screw it up. Yay! And that is one reason why I always mark off, because yeah, I just lose my train of thought. It goes choo-chooing out of the station on a constant basis. So, and anything will distract me. So, and it's not something you want when you're trying to do a nice pattern. It's different when you're doing hand knitting, because it's generally constant repeat, and you don't have this, you know, where it's, goodness gracious, where you've got a hard time with some of the stitches, knocking them down. So it's easier to remember where you're at. Oh goodness, come on. So yeah, like I said, this is a long process. It doesn't take as long in person as it does when doing it on a video. Okay, so there we go. I've got that row done. Now, as you can see, I'm coming up here. I've got 1, 2 before the black needle, and that's where I start my wrap again. So I'm going to mark off so that I can see on this chart exactly what ones I wrap together in case I have to leave for a second. Okay, there we go. And I've also got a check mark at the end of each row, just so I know what row that I've actually done, although I have it marked off on the side. I just want to be double sure that I don't go screwing it up. So for me, this here is the start of row 74. Okay. So, whoops. And again, it's up to you as to how much you want to do for, the amount of rows that you want to do in pattern, because there's no set amount. Not with this pattern. You don't, like I said, I mean, it takes over 90 stitches, or sorry, 90 rows to get this pattern complete from, sorry, losing my train of thought here. It takes over 90 rows to be able to get back to where you started from. There we go. I mean, it'd be great for a scarf. And then you can just keep going, but, whoops. This, like I said, this here for a hat, if you just want to have a quick, simple little show of the pattern or a lot of the pattern, that is completely up to you. Now, I did have a sample of the hat, but I wound up pulling it out just because I forgot to mark off where I was at. And I lost my train of thought and I screwed up. So now I have no TV on, no music on. All I can hear right now is a transport going by. And the furnace running because we have another blah day here in central Alberta. It's June 10th and we're supposed to have a high of 13 Celsius, which is pretty sucky. So, okay, so here we go. All that chit-chatting, and I've got to the end because, again, as the chart shows, I need to leave the 3 at the end. So, just... Whoops. Whoops, sorry. Didn't mean to bounce you around. And yes, I realize it's hard on the eyes when that happens. So you can go ahead and get your chart ready if you want while I'm doing this. Because I'm not going to keep us forever. It's already at 19 minutes. And we've only got 3 pattern rows done. Like I said, it does go faster once you get used to the stitch and once you, or when you're not in front of a camera, trying to talk everybody through it as well. So, come on, get down there. Okay, so again, we need 3. So 1, 2, 3. And I always count to make sure that I've got the right stitches or amount of stitches. Just makes it so much easier. So I'm going to pause this for now and I will come back once I have my desired amount of pattern rows done. And it shouldn't take too long. I'll be back in a moment. Something else I decided to do because I almost overshot on my knit round, which I'm doing now. So I kind of decided, I need something as a blocker. So I went and got a binder clip. That way I know when I hit that, I'm where I need to be. Okay, so now it won't allow me to go further, but it was here, so I can do 2 more stitches. Because I had 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what I need next. So that definitely helps. That way you don't overshoot like I almost did. So try the binder clip, and if you have one. If not, I mean, you might have something that works much better for you. I just found a binder clip was easy to clip onto the dividers, for lack of a better term, because I don't know what they call them. So it's something to think about. Or if you have an awesome idea as to how to do that, please let me know. Because this here is not an easy pattern, as I've stated before. It's easy enough to do, but the memory that you need, for some people like me, it makes it a little bit more difficult, and it does take more time than just doing your plain stockinette stitch. I won't lie to you there. It's probably going to take you about triple the time doing this here stitch as a comparison to just regular stockinette. And that's once you get in the groove of it. And another way to always know if you're at your, so that you know that you've only done 1 or 2 wraps, is you can count each time. Instead of looking at your chart, you can just 1, 2, 1, 2. But I see that my tape is coming up here, so, and I need 6 stitches for the next one, so it always increases by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I've got my 6 stitches there. So that's where my knit starts. And push it down. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put on the binder clip. Whoops. Let the yarn get through there first. And then, so now I know that there's no way on earth I will overshoot. It just, anything to make it easier is what I try to do for myself and for everybody else. Now some of these are really tough to put down, and that's not even pulling tight. So, and I have noticed that on the rows coming up, okay, I need to do 2 more. Let's see here. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, so here we go. Even after a knit row, I have discovered that some of these stitches are pretty tight. So I'm still pushing down. Now that one's good. That's awesome. So yeah, we'll just continue on. I'm going to actually finish off this here. Whoops, come on, get down. This here row. And then I think maybe I'll be done with the pattern. I'm just going to put a little bit of pattern in there for the toque. So that's going to leave me with 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14 rows is what that's going to leave me with of completion. So I'd say 14 pattern rows is pretty good considering how time consuming this is. Okay, so I've done that. I'm on row 83. Here's 84 coming up. See what I mean? You can hear the click. And so some of the stitches are still a bit tight. So I've just decided I'm actually done. I'm going to just, instead of doing a toque like originally planned, because of where I started the pattern, I've decided I'm just going to do a beanie instead. So I'm going to do a total of 90 rows. Because you don't want the pattern way down low on a toque. So with it being a beanie, it should be just right in the center, which to me is where it would look better. But I'll come back to you as soon as I have this all sewn up and show you the finished product. So this here is the end result for this beanie. Now, I honestly wish that I had started the pattern a little bit lower for doing a beanie, because I started the pattern on row 70 and I completed with 90 rows. But I think this looks pretty fabulous just as it is. The next beanie I do, I'm actually going to start it at about row 50 and go to row 70. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Have a wonderful day.